Okay, next question.
Can I have the microphone?
Yes, go ahead. That's kind of might be difficult, but.
Hi, Dennis. I'm Bruno from WeAreChangeLA, and I want to thank you for bringing attention to the plight of the first responders who are dying by the tens of thousands,
right,
and they're being ignored. There's a lot of truths that are not being talked about, and I like what you say about break the silence. Right. We have a big concern to break the silence about 9/11, and that the buildings were brought down in controlled demolition. There's obvious evidence of that, and Building 7 came down at the end of the day. 47 stories tall, came down in 6.5 seconds. Obvious controlled demolition. There's a lot of other truths. There's the Federal Reserve, there's the Mossad and whatnot, and I want to know your opinion about using 9/11 as what we call the greatest portal into truth, that's the way to wake people up to what's going on.
Well, first of all, if we're going to have a period of truth and reconciliation, you have to realize something. When Bush appropriated 9/11 for his war on terror and used 9/11 as an excuse to attack Iraq, it took many people into kind of a emotional and intellectual cul-de-sac. People got lost. There are still many Americans who believe that Iraq had something to do with 9/11. So when you have such a profound mistrust of government, as reflected in the low poll standings of the president and the low poll standings of the Congress as well, yet people don't believe anything that's said in Washington. And so they don't believe the official report of 9/11. When they see 9/11 responders who are dying of all kinds of diseases that came as a result of ingesting or breathing in these chemicals and not getting taken care of, they have further lack of confidence. So, yes, we have to, if we're looking at a period of truth and reconciliation, we have to look in every area that really bothers the mass of American people. This could be a really important moment for our country. And I think what I would invite you to do, and because there's so many people here that are so special to everything that I'm doing, I'm going to, before you leave, when the cameras are not on, I'm going to give you an email that you can contact me at, because I'd like you to help me design this the program of Truth and Reconciliation, as well as this 9/10 forum. I mean, be part of this. Let's create something. We could model it here and do it across the country. I want help in doing this. I'd like your help in doing it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
The next questioner is someone who's a great actor and a good friend, Esai Morales. Thanks for being here so much, Esai.
Thank you, Mr. I hope one day President Kucinich. I have a dream. I tell you something, I want to ask you a very uncomfortable question, because, these are uncomfortable times. As a matter of fact, people are saying these are end times. You've heard about the whole Christian right and end times, and I believe that elements in our government, shadowy elements, are orchestrating situations, are orchestrating financial collapse, all of this stuff. The very people at the top of the pyramid know when to get in and get out. So I want to ask you, what do you know about the Bilderbergers and the illegality of their involvement going internationally to set policy? It is against the law, and why are not these people held accountable?
All right. Good question.
I have a more Jungian approach. In that
Are you calling me old?
No, not at all. My approach is more mindful of of what Carl Jung wrote about the collective, unarticulated consciousness. There are people who find a way, given wherever they are in life, to achieve an identity of interest, and sometimes they don't meet at all. Sometimes they just kind of are playing out of the same playbook and find a way to do things. There's not necessarily, conspiracy implies people meet and they plan and they're architects of this. I don't know if any of that's going on, I don't know. But I can tell you that we have to realize that certain economic interests have an identity of interest, and that they might move in alignment to accelerating the wealth upwards. I mean, let's look at what's happened. George Bush has turned the federal government into an engine to accelerate the wealth of the country upwards. To accelerate the wealth of the country upwards through energy policies that have concentrated the wealth in a few hands and have given the oil companies the ability to set energy policies, accelerating the wealth upwards with the continuation of trade policies that call for that are causing people to fight to have to be making more than $1 a day in some places for their labor. with no labor standards and no human rights and workers' rights, accelerating the wealth upwards by having the insurance companies in charge of our health care policies. You only need to look at Medicare Part D and see the effect that that's had on people's budgets, and the fact that you have 50 million people without any insurance, another 50 million people who are underinsured, accelerating the wealth upwards by not properly having oversight over hedge funds, and having oversight through the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. I mean, all of government